This goes with file number 002 beat Bobcat. Hey, what's up? It's Kit time for another video. Today we are rigging the beat Bobcat. And pretty good jig. Very good for complex current, different layers of cross current. Good performer there. Because of the shape and the weight distribution of the jig, of course. It has a sliding function as well as really good fluttering. And the fluttering, of course, gives out a lot of flash. So yeah, overall a pretty good jig. Now, let's open this up and take a closer look here. Yeah. So the head here is a bit on the diamond shaped side, and then at the back here you'll notice that it gets a bit flat, and this is the part that makes it slide. So yeah, very nice, good looking jig. This is the 250 gram version. We're gonna be using the Gamakatsu. I don't know exactly what this means right here. You know what? I'm gonna ask one of my friends to actually translate this, because I can't go on actually saying like this model hook, right? So we will have to do something about that. We will use size 24 of this. All right. And because this color and this size is notorious for catching everything, including barracuda, we will be using marine white, and this has a metal core. Okay, so we have an anti-barracuda thing going right here. Okay, so we measure for the back. So take the length of the jig without the eyes, and that will give us that much, plus the length of the hook. There we go, together with some length for the knotting. Okay, so depending on what knot we're going with. And right now I'll just show you how nice this wire assist is. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, actually, you know what, let me flip this over and tighten this. I have a loop here. Okay, I'm gonna show you how good this hook is, or this line is. Okay, so we will insert it in the eye right there. We will take this and put it right there. Okay, now we take this and we do 2.5 wraps. Okay, like that. Take the tip, boom, just like that. See the tip right there? We grab that tip like so. Now we take our pliers. You see the tip, the tag end? Okay, just grab that with your pliers. Okay, and then pull this side right there. There we go, and you'll see that that jams, and that's done. Okay, all we have to do then is actually wrap that. like so. Wrap back. Okay. Cut the tag. Let's turn this thing. That is it. As simple as that. Now this, the wrap at the back is kind of like an insurance policy. And I know this is not tight yet. We could leave it at that, because as soon as we finish tying the knot, okay, hold on. Let me do this. Just ensuring that this thing is tight. Okay. Lighter. Okay. So now that we have that tight, we could do the other side. The wrap here is very important, and you'll see later when we actually tighten the whole thing. Okay. You will see it. Okay. So just so we see things here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Because when we tighten things up, this becomes really tight. And it tightens both ends. Okay, now a mono loop. Okay. So you ensure that you have enough line. If you don't have enough line, just go ahead and actually take like so, because you'll be able to kind of feed things as we did with the first one. Especially with wire, it's kind of easy. Okay, now here's the trick. Okay, pull the loop, mono loop, very close to the wraps. Okay, put that. Okay, it turned on us here. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so you have your tag end here. Put it near the loops of line. And if you go like this, okay, if you go like that, that's going to be very difficult. But what you do is push this down so that the tip, okay, the tip is the one that's exposed, so that you can just pull it close like that. All right. Now you pull this side to tighten everything. That way you also don't have kinks on this side. There we go. And you tighten it a bit. Okay, now it's time. It's time to wrap. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then tighten up. Okay. Now at this point, because you have this and you can tighten, what you do is just take your puller, tighten a little bit, just so the knot here will tension up, and then you can further reinforce with your wraps. That way things are not going to move. Okay, now cut this here. Okay. Put that there so that it's out of the way, and then we can wrap better. As you can see, I am guiding the thread with my finger as well so that it hits exactly where I want it to hit. And it gets cleaner that way, especially with the failing eyesight. Hand-eye coordination is out the door somewhat. Little tricks like that help. All right, now we can just close it. Okay. Our hook is very useful. Okay. Now it is the solid ring time. We're using big solid rings because this is what Wael likes. All right. And then we need 2 split rings as well. Put the split rings first. Now, bigger split rings will give more movement than smaller split rings because smaller split rings would restrict the movement. Now, it depends on what you want your jig to do. Putting a swivel, putting a solid ring as your tie-in point will also affect the ability of the jig to move. So really up to you on how you want this done. So we have this, and then we check to see exactly where it sits with the solid ring. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I am going to put this like so, and then we will do the binding here. Okay, again, binding is quite easy. Okay, you just start it like that, put a few wraps, and then pull tight. If it slips, do a few more wraps until it doesn't slip, okay? And then make sure that your line is quite close to, there's no gaps there, okay, so you can see. And then wrap back. Now at this point, you're just binding things, and that's fine, okay, if there are gaps. Now going back, take your time so that there are no gaps. Now at this point, what you could do is actually cut the tag end that was created when you first did this, because now you could see that the color of the binding has changed to something that's a bit transparent. That means that it's on there very tight. Now this is the third and pretty much the last pass. Okay, so I think there's some wraps here that were not tight, and that's fine because we could correct that. I mean, you don't have to, but if you're a sucker for detail, this is something that you do. All right, and then go back the third time, and then going back for your fourth and last one. And this creates a stiff point. And you could do this for, you could do a short one, you could do a long one, but having a long one there, and I'll show you. I'm using my mouth as a a third hand right there just to make things go faster. All right, so you can see here that I actually made quite a long one. Right? So what it does is make it stiff so that it helps from getting things tangled. Okay, we can adjust a bit so that it is straight as possible. Now we do the there we go, split ring. Okay, here we go. Nice, very nice. Now we do the front. We do the same thing. Okay, now this time I will do it without tools so you guys can see. All right, so right there. Okay, and what I'm doing is making loops. Okay, so loops shouldn't be super big. Right there, third one. Okay, and then I will put this through. Right there. And then tighten. Again, shouldn't be, you can adjust things by pushing and pulling. Okay, now you have to ensure that all the wraps are actually in the right place. Otherwise, it's not going to be nice. Okay, so there we go. And then we can tighten this up. There we go. That is it. Now, we can do that easy because we're not dealing with length restrictions. But if you already cut your line, of course, you will have a problem. Now, this we have to measure because the front hook should be shorter than the back. So for the first hook at least, it's easy. Okay. So before we bind that, let's do a measurement. Okay, should be here. So cut this. And we cut it up to here. Not gonna be easy for the second hook. Now, we're doing this in a different sequence. We're basically tying off the hooks without um, without binding them. Okay, again, finger there, make 3 loops. Now, these loops here, okay, these loops, the more you know how to do this, the smaller you can get away with, okay? But again, it's easier if you actually have a loop tool, which is what we did for the first method. I'm just showing you that you could do this without the tool. I used to be able to do this when I was younger, when I didn't have sausage fingers. It was easier, okay? There we go. And it's as clean as the first one. Right there, okay? So, perfect. Now, what we could do is actually take these two and then pull tight. So to see that they are tight and good, like that. And then what else we could do is actually take our hook tool like that, take our pliers, okay, so you can see that our hook tool, pliers, you see this is what I'm doing, hook tool, pliers, then grip this, and we want that knot to be tight like so, and we do the same for this one. It just gives you a reassurance that your knots are tight. Right there. And remember, this is wire, so this is not something that you could just say that is not tough. This is tough as nails. All right. Again, okay, I am going to zoom out so that you guys can see exactly what's happening here. All right, so now that we have the hooks tied, remember, again, I just like to say, if you have forgotten, the assist cord on this has a wire core. All right, now we wrap a few times, okay, near the base of the eye or the solid ring. Wrap a few times, and then there we go. So that's not gonna move. Okay. Now I'm gonna cut this tag. Okay. And before I even start, I will, as you can see there, I tightened the bobbin to the base. Okay, and then I do a few turns to just where I want the wrap to end. Okay, a bit more. Okay, now I move it to the front bit so that I can have more control. There we go. So now I will proceed to wrap tightly all the way to the base, and then I'll do that. I'll go back, and then do my last one like so before I go and do my whip finish. Okay. Then cut the tag. Now, let's see exactly. Now, if there's some fuzzies there, just take your lighter. Bang. Okay. And then after that, you can super glue this. But look at that. Look how beautiful that is. See that? Super, super clean. Now, let's do this. Alrighty. So, here we go. There goes your rigged beat Bobcat. And look at that. Just right. So that's tensioned. This is untensioned. You can see. Put some tension on the line. There we go. Beautiful. All right. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. For the new ones out there, this channel talks about the hows and whys of fishing. And we're doing a series on rigging jigs. This is our jig rigging library. And we're going to be covering a lot. All right. But normally this channel covers everything from big game, ultralight, everything in the middle, including fly fishing. It's just that there's been a lot of people requesting for jigging. So that's it. But we cover, yeah, pretty much just about everything. And we do DIYs. We do stuff like this. And it's more of a knowledge channel than it is a like pure fishing channel, which I go to as well because I have to show you guys that everything that I do actually works, right? But yeah, so that's it. Anyway, if you haven't yet, like and subscribe, share if you care. Yeah, but that's it for now. Thanks so much again for hanging out with me today. I'll see you in the next one. Class dismissed.